How are you? Welcome to our channel Tech Matrix, and today in this video we will be seeing how we can configure a Lambda function which is written in the Python language, and we can link that Lambda function with SQS, that is simple queue service. This is a messaging service from Amazon Web Services, and we will link those two together and we will see the demo now. Okay, so let's get started, guys. So first of all, let's create a Lambda function. So I'll write Lambda. So this is a global search bar, I can say, where whichever service you want to use it, you can just type it. Okay, so it will just give you like global searches. It will be visible to you, right? So I'll just hit on the Lambda. Okay, so let's open this Lambda function. So here you can see AWS Lambda. Okay, let you run code without thinking about server. Okay, you pay. So this pay service, I can say, whenever you use it, like whenever you consume this service, it's used to charge you the money, right? So it's not a fee service, I would say. So whenever you use it, you are charged. If you don't use it, it will be like no charge will be there, and it's all zero administration. So everything AWS is managing, and it's a compute service, so just use it and it will be very helpful, right? So let's create an function here. So this is you can say UI when you hit creating a function. Okay, you can see multiple options here, like author from scratch, user blueprint, container images, blah blah blah. So many things are there. Okay, so we will be using this author from scratch. Okay, and this is the function name what you have to provide it. So I'll just write it test lambda function, something like that. So I have written something like this name. You can use any of the function name which you want. Okay, so this is test lambda function what I have written it. Okay, so in the runtime you can see all the latest supported languages like .NET, Java 21, Node.js, Python 3.1, 12, Ruby, right? So other supported you can also see. So as I see, like many of the languages like Node.js, Python, Ruby, so whatever, you will be getting a code editor for it. Okay, so you will be able to edit the code directly into the AWS you can screen, or you can say console. But maybe for the another service like another languages, you have to like write on the notepad or something like Visual Studio, and you have to dump it over here. Okay, so for now I'll be using this Python 3.1.2, which is like we are going to see this tutorial now. Then in this architecture you have to choose the architecture type as well, that is x86 64-bit architecture or ARM 64 architecture. So this is your wish. I will choose this ARM 64 architecture. I'll use it. Okay, now if you go to drop down this change default execution role, you will be seeing like execution, whether you want to create a new role. So because Lambda function, whenever it executes, it requires some of the permissions. Like if you are using link it with SQS, and when it's linked with SQS, it's asking some permission like reading, writing permission, right? So first way, like you can create an SQS, you can create a role, you can create a role and you can provide full access of the SQS. This is first thing. So as we are going for the test purpose, so we can provide the full access as well. But now today I'll create a new role from the AWS policy template. I'll write some role name, something like SQS, something like test. I'll give this name as well. Okay, so this is a role name. You can provide any of the role name which you want to use it, right? So just provide it. Okay, and then policy templates is if you go to drop down, you have to select this SQS. Because why I choose this SQS polar permission, because I have to link this Lambda function with the SQS, right? So this is how all configuration it's done now, and it's look good. I'll just create this function. So let it create the function. So you can see it's creating the function now. Let's wait for like some seconds, and it will create this function. So now guys, we can see our Lambda function has been created successfully. We can see the message successfully created the function test lambda, something like that. So let's close this and let's look in this function overview. So it is very simple. It's very simplistic, I would say. Like add a trigger point, add a destination point, and this is a compute service which is provided in the middle, that is the Lambda. What it will do, you can add a trigger point. Suppose it's taking some of the data from Amazon S3, that is the storage service, and it's taking some of data and it is putting it to somewhere different S3 bucket, something like that. So this is like whole architecture you can create in your mind, and you can write everything in this Lambda. Okay, so we are going to link with SQS, so we'll not worry about this, we will see sometime later, right? So you can see the code here. So this is the lambda function.py. so we have chosen Python, that's why py extension has been come. You can see like whatever code it has been written. So I'll just remove this line, and I'll just print this event, right? So we will be printing an event that has been triggered from the SQS, right? So I hope spelling is correct. Yeah, it is correct. Okay, so we will once you have done the changes, this is what I think so when we were creating the function, it was asking that UI will be visible to you, right? So this is that UI where you can edit your code, but maybe in different languages you would not be getting it. So I haven't checked it because I don't work on that, but this is how it will look like. You have to deploy this changes whatever you have done it. So once you hit on the deploy, you see that successfully updated the function, that is test lambda function, and it has been deployed there successfully. Okay, now let's go to SQS and create an SQS. Okay, and we will link that this lambda function with this SQS. Okay, so let me open this simple queue service. As you can see, I have created this bookmark because I use these services many times, that's why I have taken the bookmark as well. Okay, so lambda is also very useful, I would say. Then Amazon SQS, you can see as message queuing service. Okay, and you can see whatever like if you want to go more in depth, you can go to AWS documentation, and you can see like you can learn many things right from there. I'll go to create a queue, and here you can see two types of queue, that is standard queue and first in first out queue. So I'll choose this standard queue, and I'll write something like SQS test queue, right? I'll give something like this name and test. I'll just keep this one SQS test. Okay, so now it will ask for the configuration. So these are the configurations like visibility timeout, machine resenting period, maximum message size, delivery delay, message side waiting time. So these all things you can adjust as per your business requirement or whatever requirement you are getting, but I'll leave this as default because we are just learning, right? So you can see encryption also. By default it provides an encryption, that is Amazon SQS key provided, but you can see there's a different encryption method, that is AWS key management service by SSE KMS. So you can use that when also if you want to use it, or if you're using for some like very important work, right? So you can choose any other encryption. So everything I leave this by default. I don't want to explain or go more into depth. I'll just create a queue. Okay, so let's wait for some seconds. Okay, the queue has been created. You can see queue SQS test created successfully, right? Now if you go down, you can see this lambda triggers. Okay, so this is a part like we will be linking our lambda function, which I was saying within SQS. So I'll go to configure lambda function trigger, and if you go to this drop down, you can see like which lambda function which you have created, like test lambda function. We will choose this. Okay, and just save it. So if that role which we provided at the time of creation was not provided, what would happen now? Like it will give you some error, right? It will be giving some error. So this took a long time. I don't know why it took some time, but it used to attach very fast. No problems. We'll just refresh it, and you can see status, it is creating at the bottom, and let's refresh it 2-3 times. So it must say it has been created or something linked, something like that. So no problem, we'll go to this tab. Okay, now you can say status has been enabled. Okay, so this both things have been linked together. Okay, so how I'll know that it has been linked? So I'll go to the lambda. Okay, in the lambda, select that function. Okay, you can see the source, that is trigger point SQS, has been added to the lambda function, and this is how like it has been linked, right? Now let's go to SQS simple queue service, and in this simple queue service which we have created, we'll open this and we'll send and receive message. Okay, so I'll just write it something like Apple, right? Apple. I'll write something like Apple, and I'll send the message. Okay, so this message has been triggered by SQS and will be pulled by the Lambda, right? So I'll go to Lambda. So what you can do, you can open two tabs parallelly at the same time and you can work. So I haven't opened that, so that's my mistake, but you can do that. Okay, now let's go to the monitor here, and if you see here, view CloudWatch logs, and just open this. So what we'll see, we will be able to see the event, what message we have sent it. Okay, in the event we will be able to get that. You can see the log stream which has created at the bottom. We will open this log stream, and in this somewhere our event must have been printed. So let's just refresh it and just expand it. Okay, so okay, let's expand it and let's check it. Yeah, you can see here body, that is Apple, that has been printed here. So this is how you can use Lambda function with SQS, and you can do the needful, guys, right? So I hope you guys like this video. If you do like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I hope you guys are good. Take care and goodbye.